Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are still fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the sincere Akwath, which are the sincere sisters. And shalom to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathens. Now, this lesson is going to be based on 6 firefighters that got injured after flames burned through vacant church in Astoria, Queens, as you know, the headline says. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. It says 6 firefighters were injured, including 1 seriously, while fighting a blaze in Queens on Thursday. FDNY officials say the fire broke out around 6:45 p.m. in a vacant 2-story rectory, then spread to a vacant church next door. Both are over 100 years old. Officials say 84 units and 270 fire and EMS personnel responded to the 5-alarm fire. A thick wall of smoke swallowed the neighborhood as the firefighters tried to knock down the raging flames, but the flames were relentless. Debris rained down on top of New York's bravest after part of the roof collapsed. 6 firefighters suffered non-life-threatening injuries, including a firefighter who was struck in the head by falling debris from the collapse. He is conscious and alert and is expected to be okay. So once the fire gets into these old churches, behind the walls and into the roof space, it's very difficult to extinguish, and there was major collapse danger to our members, said FDNY Chief of Operations Kevin Woods. So due to the structural stability of the building and due to the amount of fire, we went to an exterior attack, and while operating on the exterior, a portion of the roof started collapsing. Walls collapsed and some bricks hit one of our members in the helmet. The FDNY had to get creative, maneuvering tower ladders up 12th Street at Astoria Boulevard. It was a tight squeeze as they doused the flames that consumed the church and shot out the windows with aggression. Said the church, the First Reformed Church of Astoria, is a neighborhood relic. People who live in the area say the building has been here for centuries, but the church has been abandoned for some time now. The community has been concerned about trespassers. And you see it at the Lord. The Lord is shutting down these churches. You know, you got abandoned churches, and then, and then you got the Lord burning down these churches. Granted, this one was abandoned and the Lord burned it down. It's sad, it's a nice looking church. You don't want to see your building go up in flames, said Astoria resident Alan Yee. So yeah, it's just sad, and I don't want to see this happening in my neighborhood. Said it hurts my whole family. My sister was just over here. My niece went to this church. My mother went to the church, said a witness named Kevin Harris. The cause of the fire is under investigation. And what these people don't understand is that the Lord is not up in those churches. The scriptures say that the Lord dwelleth not in temples made with hands. So these people keep going up into these churches talking about they're serving the Lord, but the Lord does not dwell in those temples. So therefore, whatever they're really going in there for, it's definitely not to serve the Lord. You see, the men of the Lord are out there on those highways and hedges. So it's like they're not in a building. But this just goes to show that these people, the Lord is not dealing with them, Because if the Lord was dealing with them, he would put the Spirit on them to understand that he's not up in these harlot houses. Slakia, 1 second. Psalms 9:16. The Lord Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Higayon Selah. Yeah, so that fire that resulted in, some of those firefighters getting injured, most of them non-seriously, that was the Lord's judgment. The Lord is the reason why these fires are happening. And then these firefighters, just doing their job, they show up to try to put out these fires, and, they end up, inhaling a lot of smoke. If they're inside the building, the walls or the roof might collapse on them. Some debris might hit them. It's a very, very dangerous situation. And for the ones who do end up getting hurt, or on the more extreme and even killed, that's just the judgment of the Heavenly Father being brought upon them. Isaiah 29:6, thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. And we've been seeing this a lot more lately. A lot of houses on fire, churches, apartments, some restaurants. The Lord is really bringing a lot of fire, man. Then you got these brush fires, you got wildfires, just a lot of fire. And that ultimate flame of devouring fire is going to come in the form of those thermonuclear missiles that the Lord is going to use to melt America. The United States of America, that is. Deuteronomy 32:39. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no power with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. And that's right. So with these storms and tempests, the fires, the earthquakes, the shootings, the stabbings, the car crashes, plane crashes, animal attacks, people drowning, people unaliving themselves, all of these different things, all of these different judgments are from the Lord. The Lord is the one out here wounding and killing people through his spirits of vengeance. And like it says, neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So nobody can save you out of the hand of the Lord. Once the Lord decides to pass judgment on you, however that judgment is meant to play out is exactly how it will play out. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people out here don't believe that the Lord is real. A lot of people are running around saying a lot of blasphemous things when it comes to the Lord. They don't understand that all of that stuff that they're saying, the Lord hears it. And he's going to send his spirits of vengeance upon them to lay sore strokes upon them. And like I said, on the more extreme end, the Lord is going to send that death angel upon them. Proverbs 19:23, the fear of the Lord Yahweh tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. And those of us of the hopeful elect, we fear the Lord. We see all of these judgments daily taking place, and it makes us fear the Lord because we know that he's the one who's sending these judgments. He's the one unleashing these spirits of vengeance. These are not random incidents. These are not accidents. These are the judgments, the punishments, the wrath, anger, and fury of the Lord. And all the people who lack fear of the Lord, they're going to suffer, and ultimately they're going to die. So those of us of the hopeful elect, we can expect to see a lot more, flames of devouring fire, people getting wounded, people getting killed, devastating earthquakes, devastating hurricanes and tornadoes and flash floods. Because the Lord is not messing around in these last days. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash, the Wadi Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the sincere Akwath. And shalom once again to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathens. I hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up, and Adawan Ratazah, which means Lord's will. Until next time, Shalom.